Howdy folks, and welcome back to World of Warships with Rear Admiral Jingles. It's a new week. Well, it's come to the end of this week, but there's a brand new operation available in World of Warships. It's called Operation Aegis, and it is substantially different, and I think a lot better than last week's operation, the defensive Newport Naval Station. Not that I thought there was anything particularly wrong with last week's operation, but it was a bit of a challenge for a random group of teammates thrown together by the matchmaker to get the secondary objectives complete. Although some of you have been doing exceptionally well in it. You've been sending me your replays where you've managed to get 4 or even 5 stars in last week's operation. But today's video, it's all about this week's operation. I've tried this scenario multiple times, always in Tier 6 cruisers. I've tried it with the Cleveland, I've tried it with the Badioni, I've tried it with the new French Premium, the Degrasser, I've tried it with the Auber. And I've tried it with the Italian Premium, the Duca d'Aosta. And, well, you really can't go wrong with any Tier 6 cruiser in this particular operation, particularly if it can equip the defensive fire consumable, the anti-aircraft consumable. So, for those of you who have not yet played this operation, here's how it works. There's a strategic area up ahead, which we must capture. It is, of course, defended by a bunch of enemy cruisers and battleships. And the second they get spotted, you're issued with a secondary objective to sink 5 enemy ships in 2 minutes, and it is a bit of a turkey shoot. Now, there are 2 AI ships on your team. One of them is a Shaw's class cruiser, and he is effectively your convoy commander. You do have a secondary objective to ensure that he stays alive throughout the entire course of the mission, but, well, he's been at the vodka ration, and he's a little bit suicidal. So, when his ship does eventually get sunk underneath him, however, you can pick up an additional secondary mission to rescue the commanding officer of the cruiser. At the start of the match, there is one additional AI teammate with you, and he's in a destroyer, and he's the guy who's rushed up ahead, spotted all of these enemy ships for us, and laid the smoke screen to shield us from observation, while we basically farm the first secondary that popped up, knock out 5 enemy ships in 2 minutes. Now remember, when you're doing these scenarios, you're aiming not to just complete it, but to complete it with as many stars as possible, up to a maximum of 5, and you get 1 star for every secondary objective that you complete during the course of the operation. So don't get too hung up if you fail a secondary, because there are more than 5 secondaries available during the course of this objective. You can fail 2 or 3 of them and still complete 5 secondaries and finish the mission with 5 stars. At the moment, we're working on the knockout 5 enemy ships in 2 minutes objective, and it's going pretty well. There's only 3 of them left, but that guy's about to go down. And once these guys have been sunk, we will also complete an additional secondary to capture the strategic area, because these guys are occupying it. 2 of them left. And an additional enemy force has now spawned to the northwest. However, first things first, we need to take care of these guys. So, we have now captured the first strategic area. And we're about to finish. Bingo, there we go. We've sunk 5 enemy ships within 2 minutes. So, we've already done this mission with 2 stars because we've completed 2 of the secondaries. It really is a lot more generous than last week's operation, Newport Naval Station. However, I'm in a bad spot here. I'm going to have to turn broadside onto these guys to try to make it through that gap up ahead. The one saving grace is that there's a very unfortunate Graf Spee up there who's a damn sight closer to those guys than I am. And so, at the moment, they're all targeting him. So I should be able to make it through this slot, the channel between these 2 islands, without getting shot at. And transport ships have been spotted. We now have to destroy the enemy convoy, so they keep piling the secondary objectives in. And the transport ships, they're not over there. I'm just going to get some parting shots in against this guy, set him on fire. The transport ships are further to the north. They've just appeared on the minimap, although they're not in visual range for me yet. I'm going to get my torpedoes away to try to discourage these guys from chasing us around the side of the island and get some final shots off. It's only at this point, however, where the actual meat and bones of the whole operation starts. We've had the primary objective to sink 5 ships in an enemy convoy since the start of the game, but it's only now, there they are up to the north, not all of them, but there's at least one, the Miyoko with the crosshair icon over the top of his ship who's in visual range. That's the enemy convoy that we have to sink. That enemy convoy, however, is also escorting an allied convoy of captured Liberty ships. And we now have an additional secondary to save all of those transport ships. At the moment, of course, we're still dealing with the second wave of enemy ships that spawned from the northwest, although they're not going to last that much longer, not with that many torpedoes heading towards them. Unfortunately, we're now down 3 ships of our own. We've lost 2 cruisers and a destroyer. I'm just going to skip ahead, however, to when the shit well and truly hits the fan. We've lost another ship, and we've only managed to sink 2 of the 5 convoy ships. The captain of the Shaw's class cruiser has suicided right into the middle of that convoy and he's gotten himself sunk. But you can see, just up there, you actually now have a secondary mission to go and rescue the captain. Now there's a small circle around the sinking cruiser, and if you get a ship into that circle, you will complete an additional secondary by rescuing the captain of the Shaw's. But, well, I've taken far too much damage, and I am probably not going to win this gunfight against that Auber over there. He's got a lot more health than I have, so as far as I'm concerned, the captain of the Shaw's is well and truly on his own. I'm going to skip ahead a few more minutes to when we take out the last of the 5 convoy ships and complete the primary objective. And bingo, there he's gone. A new primary objective has just popped up. We now have to escort those Liberty ships out of the combat zone. And that new primary brings with it a set of 2 additional secondary objectives, the first of which is save all of the convoy Liberty ships and destroy 3 enemy aircraft carriers. And it's this additional secondary, the 3 aircraft carriers, that's going to make you wish you'd picked something that either has strong defensive anti-aircraft firepower, or comes equipped with a catapult fighter, or has access to the defensive fire consumable. And while the Auber's anti-aircraft defense isn't great, it does have a catapult fighter, and it does have the defensive fire consumable. Because from this point in, you're playing a convoy escort mission. A Cleveland or 2 would be absolutely amazing at this point, but, well, we don't have any Clevelands. The USS Texas, premium Tier 6 American battleship, would be very, very good for this particular part of the operation as well. If more of your team were still alive at this point, and with the loss of the Königsberg, that means there's just me, and I have barely 2,000 health remaining, and 1 battleship left on the team. So we're not taking any chances. We're just staying alive, running the clock down, and trying to ensure that at least 1 of those Liberty ships makes it into the exit zone, which you can see indicated just up ahead. Once 1 of the Liberty ships makes it to that point, the mission is over. And just a couple of minutes later, that's exactly what happened. Now, I saw this result and thought, wow, Operation Aegis completed with 3 stars, and I thought we'd done pretty well. Well, we didn't do badly, but this isn't like the defensive Newport Naval Station, last week's operation. Finishing that with 3 stars is a damn fine effort. Anybody can do Operation Aegis with 3 stars. It pretty much gives you 2 stars right in the first few minutes of the match. So I knew I could do better. I thought I'd have another go. This time I'm in another Tier 6 cruiser, but it's the Tier 6 French Premium that's just been released, the de Grasse. I do actually think this is a pretty nice ship. This is actually the very first time I played it. At this point we've got the first 2 easy secondary objectives done. Destroy 5 enemy ships in 2 minutes and capture the strategic area. Unfortunately, in the process of getting those first 2 secondaries done, we've just lost 2 cruisers. I do take a bit of a battering and nearly get myself sunk clearing up the flank, where the enemy raiding force that spawned from the northwest was still threatening the side of our column. Meanwhile, the rest of the team are still struggling to rescue those Liberty ships and finish off the last 2 of the convoy escorts. I have to admit, I do like the accuracy of the de Grasse's guns. And now with the convoy dealt with... Oh yes. That'll be those enemy carriers that we were warned about. Already in shooting range. You can see where they spawn here, right on the far northern map border. Now there are 3 of them, and I do not have a huge amount of health left, but I do still have the defensive fire consumable, as well as a catapult fighter. So obviously these carriers have just spawned within shooting range of a very rapid firing cruiser and its 152mm guns. So they're obviously going to be launching everything at me and not at the Liberty ships, which means the rest of the team should have a clear run at getting those Liberty ships out of here. If I can just survive the next few minutes with the defensive fire consumable up, the dive bomber drop is scattered, I've managed to set that guy on fire, the torpedoes are coming in from up ahead, but again, defensive fire is up, it's a scattered drop. Oh, 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 no, 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 I don't know how I survived that. I should have been able to avoid that one, but hey, I'm still afloat, and I've spotted another carrier. And there's another torpedo launch coming in. Come on, come on. Okay, first carrier's down. And yep, it looks like I'm going to live for the next minute or so at least until this guy manages to relaunch and recover his aircraft. Torpedo bomber squadron, I think that's from the ship that I just sank, so he's just going to be circling without orders. These carriers are not alone, by the way. There is another enemy force moving in from the north that's attempting to engage the Liberty ships, but at least the 3 surviving ships on my team don't have to worry about the Liberty ships coming under air attack because I have all of the attention of the enemy carriers. When I say all of the attention of the enemy carriers, I've got the attention of one of them, I've sunk one of them, I don't quite know where the third one is. But I'll worry about that when I actually know where he is, because right now this guy's launching aircraft at me, and unfortunately my defensive fire consumable is on cooldown, so this is not going to be a scattered drop. And I do screw up here. I get the torpedoes away, and then I momentarily stop turning in order to aim the guns at the Hosho, and because I stopped turning rather than paying attention to where the torpedoes were coming from, that was 100% my fault and completely avoidable. Particularly since the torpedoes got the Hosho anyway. If I'd paid more attention to the torpedo warning, I would have survived that. But I didn't, so I deserved to die. Third carrier spotted, however. And just as our own carrier is sending an airstrike his way, our destroyer, the Fubuki, manages to land a torpedo on him, and that's another secondary complete. Sink all 3 enemy aircraft carriers. All we have to do now is get those Liberty ships to the exit zone. And if we can get one of those Liberty ships to the exit zone without any of the Liberty ships being sunk, that's going to be our 5th bonus mission objective star complete. However, all we have to do that with is an aircraft carrier, a Leander, and a Fubuki. And while the carrier's doing the best job he possibly can to harass this force of enemy cruisers and battleships and destroyers with his aircraft, they're not going to be firing their main battery guns at aircraft. And that's when we lose one of the Liberties. So we can't do this with 5 stars anymore. But unless somebody distracts the fire of those enemy capital ships, we might not do it with 4 stars. And that's when our Leander makes an absolute hero run. He's basically thrown his ship away here to distract enemy fire away from the Liberty ships to ensure that they can make it into the extraction zone and we can get this mission complete. And he does a damn fine job of it. He's right up in the faces of the enemy ships, so they're just not shooting at the Liberty ships anymore. And he's already sunk 1, and he's pretty much going to take, well, in fact, yeah. He's done, but he took 2 of them down with him. More importantly, while he was up there, distracting their fire, they were not shooting at the Liberty ships, and he's done it. Operation complete. 1 Liberty ship made it into the extraction zone. Mission is over, and it's largely thanks to that guy in the Leander. So, operation complete, this time with 4 stars, largely thanks to that guy in the Leander. Red Rabbit, well played. I'm convinced we can do it with 5 stars, however, so I thought I'd have one more go. This time, I'm trying out another Tier 6 Premium. It's the little Italian ship that could, the Duca d'Aosta, or however the hell you pronounce it. My apologies, Italy, I'm sure I'm probably getting it wrong. This ship is armed with a whole bunch of 152mm guns that have the most ridiculous initial shell velocity of 1,000 meters per second. Since I know exactly where the first 5 enemy ships are going to spawn from, I've put myself into a position where hopefully I'm going to be able to get some broadside shots into them. And, come on, oh crap, they're targeting me. Slightly out of position. My intention was to get into a spot where I could take advantage of the smoke screen that the AI friendly destroyer is going to lay, while still being able to get all of my guns to bear on these guys here, but I'm just too far forward, so I can't take advantage of the smoke screen, and I am taking incoming fire, so it's time to start moving. I'm going to get this island between myself and these enemy ships. Oh, hello. A destroyer. That's unusual. There isn't normally a destroyer in this group, but, well, it's not always the same ships every time. There is always 5 of them. And, yeah, some of the... Wow, that Bayern is taking a bit of a battering. Looks like they are focusing their fire on him. Okay. I'm going to see if I can ninja some kills here by accelerating and coming around the side of the island here. Hopefully those guys are going to be distracted, exchanging a crossfire with the rest of the friendly force. I'm lining up for the torpedoes, but, well, I like the Duke of Dorster. I think it's a good ship, but the torpedoes are absolutely terrible. They've got a decent range, but they only have a speed of 51 knots. You may as well be dropping depth charges. Ah, plot twist. The destroyers dropped a smoke screen, so the Shiratsuyu is in there. You can see them firing out, but there's also an Ishizushi in there, and we can't see them. And now the additional enemy forces spawn to the northwest. But my ship has sonar, and so, yeah, this guy's about to have a very, very bad day. And he's done. Now, there is still an Ishizushi battleship inside that smoke screen, but I'm now close enough to light him up with the sonar as well. And is he pointing his guns at me? No, I don't think he is. Okay, fine. We'll just keep up the fire. And he's... Okay, well, yeah. That was fairly convincing. And we're all still alive. So the first 2 secondary objectives have been complete. So this mission is already a 2-star mission. We've captured the strategic zone here, and we've sunk 5 enemy ships in 2 minutes. So now we need to spot the friendly transport ships, which are being escorted by the convoy that we have to sink, and attempt to keep the shores alive. But the shores, well, the captain's drunk again. He's steaming off to the north, regardless of the fact that if we were to follow him to the north at this point, we'd just get caught in a crossfire between the escorting cruisers and this enemy force that spawned to the northwest. At this point, you really do have to deal with those guys to the northwest. If you were to sail to the north, and you can see that we've already spotted the first of the convoy escort ships, and we do have to sink all 5 of them, but if we were to sail due north at this point in order to take care of that, we would be exposing ourselves to flanking broadside fire from all of these guys. So these guys do have to be dealt with first. My one concern here is that if I stay on this course to shoot these guys up as they come around the side of the island, that convoy escort is heading south at full speed, and I'm going to be in range very, very soon. And there's nobody north of me other than an AI destroyer, and, well, he's been spotted by the force from the northwest, so he's not going to last very long. So I don't really want to go any further north than this. I'm going to stay here and try to get as many guns firing at the northwestern force as possible, but as soon as I start taking fire from that lot, I'm getting the hell out of here. Hopefully we can sink all of these guys before that happens. Unfortunately, we have lost one of our battleships at this point, and the shores there is on fire, and our AI Mayhem destroyer over there, he's probably about to die. He's charging right in to get his torpedoes off, but yep, he's done. And I don't think he even hit anything with his torpedoes. We really, really need to deal with these 2 Kumas. Oh, one of them just took a big hit, and my shots finish him off. And then the surviving Kuma gets taken out by our Cleveland. And, oh, hello, that's a lot of enemy ships. 2 for attackers, 2 Aubers, and a Kuma. And the only reason they're not shooting at me right now is because the shores is there. He's just that little bit closer, and he has started shooting at them. And this is why it's next to impossible to keep that shores alive. You just cannot deal with that convoy escort group to the north, which he is going to charge up and engage the first chance he gets because he's off his face on vodka, as well as cleaning up the northwestern force. Well, I say you can't do it. I'm sure somebody out there is going to surprise me and actually get that secondary complete, but it doesn't really matter if he gets sunk because you immediately pick up an additional secondary to rescue the captain. So, fully aware that that shores is about to go down, I do not want to be the next closest target for all of these enemy cruisers, so I'm just keeping my distance. The rest of the team rally around the Bayern Tier 6 battleship who moved up to the north in order to take the fight right into the face of these convoy escorts. I, on the other hand, I skulk around the flank because the Duke of Gloucester is a very, very fast ship, and you're able to shift from one flank of the battlefield to the other very quickly in this thing. And I'm just taking advantage of ships that are basically... Oh crap, no, he is shooting at me. I've got his attention. But I'm probably going to come off best in this engagement. This is a 10-point captain on my Duke of Gloucester, by the way, so I do have the inertia fuse high explosive skill, which means that I can penetrate his bows with my high explosive from any angle, which is nice. Oh bugger, there's another one shooting at me. And I did have a little bit of a brown alert moment here, with the Auber pointing his 203mm guns at me, and I pretty much have to give him the side of the ship in order to get around and into cover on the other side of the island over there. But he's now the last of the convoy escort ships up, and our entire team started shooting at him, so hey. Somebody even picked up the captain of the shores, so there's another secondary complete. Now we've completed the first of the primaries, we've destroyed the convoy escorting the Liberty ships, and now we have to get those Liberty ships to the extraction zone in order to complete the mission. But remember, there's those 3 aircraft carriers as an additional bonus secondary. And they were up here, weren't they? I think I'm going to go hunting. Before too long, I spot his fighters, and, well, where there's fighters, there are going to be torpedo and dive bombers, but they're not going for me. They're going for the Liberty ships, and in order to get to the Liberty ships, they're going to have to run the gauntlet of the defensive anti-aircraft fire of a Molotov and an Emil Bertin. And that attack is defeated, and both the Molotov and Emil Bertin survive. And there's the first of the enemy carriers. Now with the first air attack beaten off, the Emil Bertin is peeling off and heading to the east to support the rest of the team against the last enemy raiding force, which has just appeared in the northeastern corner of the map, but myself and the Molotov are going for these carriers. I'm keeping up the high explosive spam and hoping to set this guy's flight deck on fire, but with the inertia fuse high explosive skill, I have a minus 3% chance to actually set a fire on target, with a, I think, a base 13% chance of fire on target. But I keep the fire up anyway, and while the torpedoes on the Duke of Gloucester are pretty bad, they only have a speed of 51 knots, that other carrier isn't really going anywhere quickly, and the range is not bad on the Italian torpedoes, so I put the torpedoes in the water, pile a few more shots into the Hosho as he hauls ass out of here, and then my full attention to this, how do you even pronounce that? Zuiho? Whatever. Japanese carrier number 2, and it looks like at least 2 of those torpedoes are going to hit. Air attack's coming in, but it's scattered by the defensive fire. Only 2 of the torpedoes make it into the water. I've managed to avoid those. And shots out, final salvo, steal the kill. Well, I say steal the kill. I did put 2 torpedoes into him. And I'm going to attempt to steal the kill against the Hosho. But, well, it's armor piercing, it's not exactly ideal, and ah, crap, more torpedoes. Not good, not good. Come on, slow, and turn, and turn. Actually, no, not slow. Go, 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 go. Oh. Yeah, I don't think so. Now I've put the spotting aircraft up, which of course is going to extend the range of my main battery guns, otherwise this guy would not have been in range. And we're going to see if we can ninja another kill here. We have unfortunately lost another ship, which is a real shame because this game is pretty much in the bag. Bingo, 3rd carrier down, an additional bonus objective complete. All we have to do now is get the Liberty ships into the extraction zone, and I don't think we've lost any of them yet. So right now our priority is to draw the fire of these Japanese ships. Shots at us, absolutely fine. Doesn't really matter. Well, not much if any of us get sunk at this point, as long as one of those Liberty ships makes it into the extraction zone before any of the Liberty ships get sunk. So I'm piling the speed on. And the Duke of Gloucester is a fast ship. I mean, you can see the speed I'm doing there. That's pretty damn nice for a cruiser. Nearly 36, in fact over 36 knots. And that's without a speed flag. Oh, bugger, we've lost our Cleveland. But, yeah, it doesn't matter. Rather they sink him than they sink any of the Liberty ships. And if you look at the map, you can see they just about made it. So just a few more seconds. Come on. Don't shoot at them, shoot at me, or shoot at anybody. Yeah, we've done it. Fantastic. Operation complete. Transport ships have left the action zone, and without losing any of the Liberty ships in the process. But did we get it done with 5 stars? Yeah, of course we did. I think that was my 4th attempt. I've had more than 4 attempts at the defence of Newport Naval Station and never gotten it done with more than 2 stars. This is a significantly easier operation than the defence of Newport Naval Station. But I think it's more fun. Newport Naval Station was essentially a very, very defensive, very campy operation. The best tactic is to just camp around the naval station and take advantage of the repairs offered by the Liberty ships and the firepower offered by the naval forts. There's none of that in this one. It's a lot more fun to play. I've certainly had a lot of fun playing it. Even when I got my ass kicked, I was still having fun. And I haven't seen any complaints from anybody else playing this operation either. So, Operation Aegis, the current weekly operation running in World of Warships. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope it's going to be of some help to you when you come to play this operation for yourself. And as always, take care, and I'll catch you next time.